Welcome to Games from Folktales, a podcast that mixes historical research and tabletop role-playing settings. I'm your host, Timothy Ferguson. This week, we return to Venice's Faerie market for the Maskmakers. In the depths of the market is a shop with a narrow frontage. It has a single mask of a gilded gorgon above the door. It has eyes made of red glass which seem to follow everyone in the street. People say that no one has ever tried to steal anything from this store. People say, if they did, the mask would do something. Move, turn them to stone, scream the hideous wail of the gorgons. Stories vary. Some street vendors deliberately set up within sight of the gorgon, and it's said that pickpockets also avoid this part of the street. Uriel. Uriel, whose name means far traveller, was the sister to Medusa and Stheno. She came to Venice decades ago. She knows a goddess of wisdom is stirring in the spaces behind the city's reflection. She needs to know if it's her enemy, grey-eyed Athena. Uriel wants to kill Athena to avenge her sister. Medusa was cursed by the goddess of wisdom and then murdered by her champion. Uriel hides her terrible face behind a mask of her terrible face. The Gorgonion. The Gorgonion, the mask of the Gorgon, is used by Venetians as a charm, particularly as protection for children. It's thought to cause evil spirits to flee because they lack the bravery to meet the Gorgon's gaze. In Venice, where masked spirits sometimes possess the participants in the Carnevale, the Gorgonion can force brave checks in those who view it. Those who fail are too shocked to think or move voluntarily, but do not literally turn to stone. They may make a new brave check every 10 minutes, and can be, for example, led away by the hand. Uriel can cause this effect through her mask, or remove it to unveil the terrifying face beneath. Blood from the left side. A drop of blood from Uriel's left side cures most diseases. It's consumed when used, which differs from Medusa's blood, which persisted even when used, presumably due to Athena's meddling. The blood contains cryovis. Blood from the right side. A drop of blood from Uriel's other side is a deadly poison. Again, Medusa's blood continued to be toxic, regardless of how many times it was used. This may make folklore skill checks inaccurate. Brazen wings. Uriel has metal wings that fold into her back, and when she unfolds them it will rip her clothes. These allow her to fly slightly slower than a human of great endurance can run. Scream. Uriel's discordant scream was the inspiration for Athena's creation of the flute. Screaming allows Uriel to extend the range of her terrifying power, but in a crowded area like the city, it would cause mayhem. In the post on the blog that accompanies this podcast, there's then a series of stats for Uriel, the leather mask maker. They're the same as the Gorgon stats in Realms of Power Faerie, with a few differences. Her personality traits are vengeful and perfectionist. I note that she wears gloves on the rare occasions she leaves her shop, because she has brass claws instead of hands. She has tusks. She has a mask-making pretense. And unlike other Gorgons who have viz in their masks, she has viz that's in her blood, and the art that it's linked to depends on which side the blood flows out of. She's an elderly woman with a slight forward bow in her spine. She has a hideously deformed face with scales and tusks. Snakes replace her hair. Her fingers are replaced with brass claws. Gabriella, the papier-mâché mask maker. Venetians find privacy alluring. The most seductive of their masks is a featureless void. They posit that the face beneath the Gorgonion mask must be too beautiful for words. The lady who seems to do little but make the finest masks must, privately, have a passionate inner life and secret loves. Stories draw fairies, and so now there is a second mask maker. Her name is Gabriella, and she's at the edge of many parties. Gabriella works in the merceria, but she's also seen at shops and stalls, a mixture of craftswoman and noblewoman that only makes sense in a large, rich city like Venice. Her mask is also a gorgonion, but lacks tusks. She calls Uriel mother, but most of the people in Venice do not know that there are two Maskmakers. Uriel rarely leaves her store, so as not to be seen by the agents of the rising power. Gabriella does not have wings, but sometimes fails to notice that she needs them, leaping unlikely distances. This was an attribute of her aunt, Stheno, and again this may cause confusion to folklorists. Gabriella again uses the statistics from Realms of Power Faerie with the following changes. She uses the statistics for a beautiful Gorgon, which means that her presence score is far higher, and her perception score far lower because she can't see through the eyes of her serpents. She, similarly, doesn't have the dozens of eyes power. Her combat skills are far weaker. She has a skill in brawl, which allows her to hold a person sufficiently still that her snakes can deliver poisonous bites. Her powers also differ. Her scream is not a terrifying sound, but instead flute-like and beautiful, and it stuns people provided they're not tone-deaf. It's particularly effective against those who appreciate music. As just mentioned, she has a power, which I've called lack of gravitas, which means that sometimes she doesn't obey gravity quite as strictly as other people do. It's not as useful as flight, and she doesn't appear to know that she's doing it. The main difference between the two, in terms of their Gorgon powers, is that Uriel follows an older set of myths. That is, her power is activated by people seeing her face, whereas Gabriella is linked to the newer set of myths, where it is her gaze that causes petrification. Like the basic Gorgon, she contains mentum vis, and it's in a mask, and her appearance is as a noblewoman or rich crafter of Venice. She wears a Gorgon mask without tusks, and she has a hair veil over golden ropes of hair that seem to stir in the wind, even though it is not there. She wears a lot of brass sequins, particularly on her gloves. The snakes on the two Gorgons also differ. Uriel's are of even length and reach the middle of her back. Gabriella's are shorter in the front. Essentially, she has bangs. And her longer ones go all the way down to her waist, where they wrap repeatedly around, pretending to be a gilded leather belt. Your saga may vary.